Hello worldies, and welcome back to my naughty little channel. I want to continue just a little bit on the tip of my last video where I was talking about, the psychology of why pretty women experience bullying in the workplace, but I wanted to talk about just kind of in a broader sense the resistance that you experience on your level up journey as a woman. And I kind of want to demonstrate certain ways that people, they admire your discipline, but they just haven't realized it yet. And just kind of getting into some things that you may come across, prepare you, and just go into reasons why certain things happen. So let's get into it. I have noticed, because I do journal so much, I kind of keep like logs of my life and know, I go back and reflect and whatnot. I have noticed that, let's say I have somebody who is criticizing me for one day, or they're criticizing me for one thing one day. So what do I mean? Like when it comes to your discipline with your body, your consistency, maybe you're working out, maybe it's your consistency or your discipline in your presentation and how you take care of your body and how you take care of your skin. Maybe it's how you dress. Maybe you put yourself together very well. Maybe it is your makeup, anything. I've noticed that every time I've had somebody, usually it's in the workplace, but it can be other settings as well. You'll have someone who is kind of trying to downplay something that you have going on, trying to act like it's not that big of a deal. But then you find out like a week later that they want you to teach them how to do that exact same thing. That does look like, for me, somebody maybe trying to downplay, or people will always try to give some backhanded opinion nobody asked for. Like they'll want to bring the conversation to people who put themselves together and stuff. Like people will literally just be giving downright shade right in your face. Anything about you, whether it's you wearing makeup, you having a hobby, you choosing not to be in a relationship, you choosing to put yourself first and move, you choosing to say no to the function, or you holding your boundaries, or whatever it is that this person is jealous of that you are using to level up your life, they will first hate on it, and then they end up coming back after the fact. And you realize that now they're actually curious. Like first it was that you're doing too much, or, some people spend too much time in the mirror. They spend too much time getting themselves together and everything. And then like a week later, they're trying to figure out where you got your clothes from, or they're trying to figure out like your skincare routine. Like this has literally happened to me, where sometimes you'll have the people who they realize that they admire you from the beginning. And so they come to you in admiration, and usually everything is fine. They don't have any tension or resistance that's being created in their mind. Because, and I've said this before, a lot of people just avoid their desires so they don't have to deal with the discomfort of realizing that they don't have them. So for many people, when they come across you and they see your discipline, that exposes what in their life feels like unfinished business. Many people, you'll hear all over online, there's all the gurus, there's people, whether it's spirituality, whether it's people talking about inner work, they're talking about this, that, and the third. People will even joke about people who say I don't dream of work, I don't dream of labor. People would be like, haha, but you have to work. I think that a lot of people, we have this sense where we're conscious of the fact that we have to work to earn a living, or at least make your money work for you in some sort of way. So that's external, outside of our body. But a lot of us don't understand that most people, I can't think of one person that I've met that just didn't seem like they didn't need to do any inner work. I can't imagine myself getting to a point where I felt as though I had no more inner work to do. And I kind of feel similarly when it comes to people who just don't believe in therapy, or they think it's a scam, or they don't believe that they need therapy, or I don't know. Unless you were just in a bubble, I just feel like most people probably could benefit from, I'm not saying you have to have intensive therapy, but I think that there is some amount of inner work everybody needs to do. And many people are aware that when it comes to whatever desire they want, I have the belief that it's two parts to get your desires. There's a part of you that has to be open to accepting it and, realigning your identity into the, with the person who has it. Oh yeah, not something that's outside of me, but I have that. That's normal for me to have. I can maintain that. I can hold that. That won't freak my nervous system out. Oh my God, this is too much good. It's fine. But then there's also the piece of work, like aligned action. We actually do have to do stuff. No, I don't believe that you could just eat 5,000 calories a day and not work out, and then you're just watching, like, getting abs subliminals, and then all of a sudden you're going to end up with abs. Like, that's just not how it works. There is some level of work involved in things, and that shouldn't be, seen as a bad thing. But many people, whether it's just because they're lazy, or I think for many people it's also their ego, a lot of people, for whatever reason, it feels shameful to them that they are still an unfinished product. A lot of people have trouble coping with the fact that whatever desire you have, whether it's more money, whether it is to move, whether it's a different body, whether it's a different feeling that you're cultivating, like, you want to feel different on the inside, you want to feel more alive or something. Many people, their ego is like, I would rather avoid the fact that I want these different things, because that would mean that maybe I have been wrong. I need to change something. I have to do something. A lot of people who are nowhere near self-actualized are at this point of just acting like, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm how I am, and that's okay. I just am who I am. And people will, like, they'll be like that. But then when they come across you, it proves to not be something that they really feel, because they feel so much discomfort, and they're not consciously thinking like, oh, I admire their discipline because I also want a better body. And while that person's getting the body, I kind of really admire their body and they're instead of them just clocking that, instead they become uncomfortable, and it just kind of reminds them about something that they've been procrastinating on, or something that they've been postponing. Like, as an adult, if you want to travel, nobody's going to, like, come into your house and force you to travel. If you want to have a better body, nobody's going to come into your house and force you to eat healthy and force you to work out. Like, if you want to have a better career or something, nobody's going to force you, like, come into your house and force you to network. Nobody's going to come in and force you to refine your people skills or your communication skills. Nobody's going to force you to get a certificate, get a certain license, go back to school, graduate, actually do your coursework. Nobody's coming to force you to do these things. So for a lot of people, because they don't have that outside force motivating them, and they are not creating like an internal fire and motivating their own self to do what it is that they need to do to achieve what they want, they see that you, like, just in the sense that, like, we'll use the example of your body. They'll see that you keep working out. They see that you keep making healthy choices and whatnot. But then they keep saying that they're going to start next Monday, or, there's always some excuse for why they cannot start, like, right then, like why they can't make a healthier choice right now. They'll see you leave an unhealthy relationship, but then they will be the type who keeps giving somebody another chance, or they're still in the dustiest relationship that God has ever created. They'll see you be the type of person who's like, maybe you're saving your money, you're investing your money, you're building a different life for yourself, but they continuously impulse spend, or they're chasing dopamine, and they are more so concerned with instant gratification as opposed to the delayed gratification that you have to become comfortable with when you're somebody who has discipline. So for these people, when they view you, your consistency acts as a mirror to them, and it makes them very uncomfortable because they don't like what they see. There are many people who, like, I didn't realize this was a thing, but as I have started to mature and I've, like, talked to different people, I didn't know that there are some people who will literally say, like, they don't have mirrors in their house, or they, like, don't look in the mirror, or they don't like looking in the mirror. And some people, they like mirrors and they like to look in the mirror and critique themselves, or, talk to themselves in a poor way. But I think many people, they don't understand, like, whether it's a physical mirror or it is just the mirror that you have when you're seeing yourself reflected back to you in the faces of other people. It should be it should be something that you welcome and something that you're happy about, because me personally, like, I'm thankful when it came to my weight loss journey that I had mirrors. So I never got to the point where I was like 300 pounds. I never got to the point where I was 400 pounds, 500 pounds, 600 pounds, because I wasn't just avoiding the truth of the situation. And, while I don't think you should be looking in the mirror and telling yourself that, oh, I'm so ugly and this, that, and the third, I think you should look in the mirror and say, I'm strong and I'm powerful and I'm capable of getting the body that I want. The body that I want is right under this body. And, just like, I'm trying to think about if anybody's ever seen Coraline, that movie. Let me know in the comments below if I like that movie. It's kind of creepy, but there's that scene where like Miss Sphinx and Miss Forcible or something like that. They're like jumping and they like unzip their big fat bodies, and there's like these little petite baddies inside of there. I used to talk to myself like that before I lost the weight. And I enjoyed being around people who had my desire, and I didn't avoid people who had the body that I want. I don't avoid people who have a version of my desire right now. I don't do that because I don't want to forget that I want that. A lot of people, and it's so sad. They are so miserable that they have forgotten that they want something. They forgot that they want to do that career, or they forgot that they dreamed of having this type of relationship. They forgot that they want to be healthy. They forgot that they want to travel here. They forgot that they want to be active and they want to be flexible and they want to be healthy and they want to be vibrant and youthful. They forgot that they want these things, that they wanted these things in the past. And many people, it's hard for them because they don't appreciate being able to recognize the gap between what they have and what they want to have. That is such a blessing. It's such a blessing to because that means if you even have a desire, you are in some way, shape, or form, I would guess, feeling safe. And that is a blessing. You are safe. You feel safe enough to want something. Many people, when you're in survival mode, you're not even concerned with your needs, or I said that backwards. You're not concerned with your wants. You're not concerned with your desires. You're concerned with your needs. You're concerned with the very base level of surviving. And many people operating today are still at that point. So that's part of the reason that some people, they don't realize that they actually admire your discipline, because maybe they really are not even safe enough in their body, in their mind, to consider what it is they want. But for a lot of people, realistically, many people are safe enough to be aware of what they want, but there's such a big gap between what they want and what they have, and who they are and who they would need to become, and what they do and what they would need to start doing, that, they just don't think that they have the power to achieve it. But it's not even just that. I'm not even going to say that they don't know that they have the power. Many of these people, they're addicts. They are addicted to familiarity. And for many people, I've been the type of person who can get up at 5 a.m. I've had phases in my life where I get up at 5. I have recently started doing that. And I will be honest that even if you're not a morning person, that is not it doesn't require the most discipline in the world to wake up early. The hardest type of discipline to have is the discipline that requires things like tolerating space and spaciousness in the absence of something, because so many people are just used to always having something right there. This is people who settle. They settle for a life. They settle for a relationship. They settle for a certain neighborhood. They settle for a certain type of job or apartment. They settle for a certain type of body, a certain type of life. They fill their life up so full to distract themselves from the fact that they don't have what they want yet. And, being able to tolerate, I don't want this kind of partner, or I don't want this kind of relationship, so I will tolerate singleness. That is a way harder type of discipline. Same thing when it comes to people who decide to go celibate, and it's sexual intimacy or something. It's saying, no, I'm not just going to settle to have anything that's out there at all. I am going to tolerate the absence of. I'm going to say no. I just was watching this video that, it definitely inspired me. I like to watch some of Alexis's content, and she was talking about a situation where she, like, how her no led her to a yes. So she was talking about brand deals. She was saying that at the beginning of her content creation journey, she told herself that she was not going to represent anything that did not it was not something she truly believed in. And like, because people are always like, they're mad when it comes to people coming online, they want to make money, they're like, oh, it's just an ad, you're just trying to get money out of us, you don't even believe in this, you don't even and that's a true thing. People like especially if you're like a millennial or something and you grew up in the time of seeing like all the flat tummy teas and this and that, people, it kind of corrupt where people they need to pay their bills, they need to do the brand deal or whatever, and they're representing something that's not authentic, something they wouldn't even use their own self. She said that's not what she wanted for herself. And so there was a time where she actually needed some money, but she said no to a brand deal that would have been her having to represent something that she doesn't believe in. And that her saying no to that, tolerating the absence of that. Like, I just thought of this scenario as I recorded this video. It's so crazy. It didn't even inspire this video, but now I'm thinking about it. But, it brought in, or after that, a brand deal that was more aligned with what she believes in and everything. And that has happened to me, like, even in the sense of friendship, like within the last couple months, I've made a new friend who I really enjoy having them in my life. We speak life into each other. It's such a positive connection. We're both so much into social climbing and leveling up. I love it. But before that, there were times where, I had to leave space for that. I had to turn down the hangout or the meetup with such and such, getting together, keeping up with this other person, this person who's like, oh, we should hang out or whatever. I had to leave space for, this girl, she wants to hang out, but she's literally a big back. So why would I be going to hang out with her? She doesn't have the same goals, the same values. Why would I do that? Oh, just because I want to have somebody to hang out with right now, I gotta be a people pleaser and say yes to every invitation? No, I'm going to say no. I'm going to leave that space. And in me doing that, that's how, I literally remember like over this weekend, I caught up with my friend again, and it was like, I had somebody else who had invited me to hang out and I turned them down, and I happened to just be scrolling on my phone, saw like a video or whatever, sent it to my friend. And then we ended up catching up on the phone and planning to see each other again soon, because just leaving that space. Like, instead of me being out hanging out with a big back where we don't engage in the same activities, we don't live the same lifestyle, we don't have the same values, we don't have the same discipline, we don't hold ourselves to the same standard of whatever this. And this is not speaking down on this person, it's just saying that it's not compatible, it's not something that's really aligned. It may for some people it is addictive being around what's familiar. Even if, let's say, you're the type of person where your life has taught you that some sort of toxicity is normal, whether it is chaotic friendships. A lot of girls have pretty girl PTSD. You may have, depending on your age, you may be in a point where maybe you've had more scary, traumatic types of situations than you've had positive, safe types of connections. That can be a thing. It can be such that, familiar, or what's bad for you is what's familiar, and that's what you're addicted to. And it's hard. Like, it can be hard to be in a situation where maybe you're not texting your ex or you've blocked somebody. It's hard, sometimes maybe sleeping alone because you don't want to just be sleeping with anybody. It can be hard. Sometimes, like, it's literally hard. Even if it's not the desired thing, if it is in any way familiar, it can still be addictive. It can be hard not hanging around friends that drain you. That can literally be hard if those were the friends that you had. And then, if in your mind, it's like, oh, I don't know the people I want to spend my time with yet. Like, I know what I want, but I don't see the proof of that in my current reality right now. Oh, I'm just going to settle for this. I don't want to choose the loneliness. I don't want to tolerate the loneliness. For many people, it can be hard not calling and maintaining a connection with maybe a family member who is disrespectful to you, or they've traumatized you, they've hurt you in some way. Many people automatically associate familiarity with safety, because it's familiar, because it's what I'm drawn to, because it's what I'm attracted to, it must be safe. And that's not the case. Those are very different things. It's a mistake that we make oftentimes, thinking that just because it feels familiar, just because it feels like something you've seen before, just because it's what you know how to navigate, that doesn't mean that it's safe. Maybe what you know how to navigate is toxic. Maybe you don't have the skills to navigate what is healthy and what you want. But familiarity, feeling confident in that scenario, feeling like you know how to operate it, that doesn't mean that it's safe. It doesn't mean that it's what you want. It doesn't mean that it won't drain you. Discipline creates empty space. And a lot of people don't talk about that. Like, for many people, if you're on a weight loss journey, if you were one of those people who's like eating for boredom or eating emotionally or something, there can be this open space of time, of like the time that you used to eat, and now you're not eating during those times. Or, for some people, like I know for me, I was the type when like I was bigger, where I would eat out of boredom sometimes. So like I might be watching a movie, watching a TV, and I would have to like have a snack for the entire movie or something. Or like, oh, you're at the movies and you have to go refill the popcorn and stuff, just because you're bored, just because you want your hands to fiddle with something. And building discipline created empty space. It created, well, hey, I'm my attention span can be a bit short. I have a little bit of ADHD. So maybe now if I'm watching a movie or something, maybe I might like open up my phone and like check my my YouTube or check something or whatever. Maybe I'll do something else. Sometimes I like to fidget with things. I'll fidget with jewelry, whatever that is. Sometimes I may need the extra stimulation of doing something else, but there is an empty space. I personally, I chew a lot of gum now, but I'm not chewing it up and swallowing it. I'm not getting fuller. I have times where, I'm not full, but I'm also not hungry. And it's different than how it could have been a year or 2 years or 3 years ago, for you when you build that discipline. It's like, wow, in another time in my life, there would have been something here. So it could have been, there would have been a toxic friendship here taking my time or my attention. It could have been, I would have usually been on the phone with this family member that doesn't treat me very well. During this time, I would have been spending time with this ex who I didn't enjoy the connection and didn't feel like it was aligned. It could be, oh, during this time, I would have been drinking. I would have been smoking. I would have been scrolling. I would have been eating something that I didn't need to eat. Discipline will create an empty space. And a lot of people, they don't understand that when their life is changing, life tends to get quieter before it gets more vibrant, before it gets fuller. And so a lot of people, the quiet, the stillness, the empty space, they will run back to something that's loud and that's eventful and that's familiar and that's chaotic or whatever, because they can't tolerate that space. But the reason when you're leveling up, your life is going to get quieter before it gets fuller, before it gets busier. Many times, one, you just need to rest up before your busy season. Like I've known for me, there's been times that life like kind of slowed down, quieted down, and then things were boom, boom, boom. Like right after that, everything picked up. And that happens sometimes. But the quiet and the slowness and the stillness is a good thing, because why are things quiet? Why is there an empty space? Many people, they have trouble with loss in general because it can be hard to process grief. But what are you losing in? Not everything you lose is a loss. So if you lost toxic friends, you didn't take an L. If you lost a bad relationship, there's no L to be had. Like, you didn't take an L. If you lost an unhealthy habit, you're not losing anything of value. If you're losing a distraction, like that's not a loss. Just because your brain might be conditioned to see it as loss doesn't mean it is actually loss. Just because there is now absence, just because there's now space or there's now stillness, doesn't mean that you actually lost something. People oftentimes in their brain, they will just notice. They'll say, oh, I'm alone, or things are quiet, or nothing's happening right now, and freak out. But no, you're creating space. Nature doesn't like a very open space. Nature doesn't like a vacuum. Healthy things, the things that you need for your dream life, the people, the places, and the things that need to kind of settle in and come into your life that you need to align yourself with, they need space to enter. Just like when I was giving the example with the friend, you know, you could like, if you're the type of person where you are feeling like, oh, you don't have your dream friend group or whatever, okay, they're not even going to see you if you are filling up your time with the wrong friend group. If you want to get into, a better relationship or something, you might not even be in a place to meet that better partner if you're still in the bad relationship. And a lot of people, they will criticize having these types of boundaries over your own life. And when I was saying at the beginning of the video that they usually come back and then they admire your discipline, they're going to need those kinds of boundaries themselves at some time. They're going to need the stillness, the quiet, the spaciousness, the emptiness as well. So like at first you might hear that like, oh, you're doing too much, you're holding grudges, you're being dramatic, you're being picky, you're cutting people off. I've heard these things and I've seen other people in my life go through the same thing. That's how people feel originally. But then 6 months later, they're asking you like, well, how did you cut this person off? Like, how did you stop? Like, how did you heal from that? How did you actually lose the weight? People start giving you their problems like, see, I would lose weight, but I feel like, they'll start telling you whatever their mishap is because while they were hating on the changes that you were making, they were secretly studying you and they're trying to figure out your process, and they feel like they just have one hang up or two hang ups or whatever it is. They get to the point where they're like, they get fed up. They're tired of seeing their desire walking around in front of them all their time, or you representing something they desire, whether you're representing vibrancy, whether you're representing status, if you're representing beauty, if you're representing love and companionship, if you're representing family, whatever that is, somebody wants what you have. You are like walking around to them, parading their desire like in front of their face. And these people will come back and like eventually start saying, like, whether it's you seeing people in your comments, like people like be coming under your social media, whether it's people in your real life just now making a new comment, or it's direct questions, how do you even stay so disciplined? How do you even do it? And people they will be genuinely asking. These same people that 6 months ago were like, oh, you're doing too much, blah, blah, blah. They will come back and be like, oh, well, how do you stop talking to your ex? How do you leave your hometown? How do you move across the country? These same people will be asking, because it's not that your behavior changed. It's just that eventually their perspective changes. They get to the point where they end up needing that same discipline, or they end up needing that same type of boundary or something, and they don't have it set up in their life. And so they come, they finally come to the master, because many of you listening to me, if there's somebody in your life who admires you and maybe is hating on you because they feel like you have mastered something that they haven't mastered yet. Maybe it's that you've mastered not giving a fuck what people think about you. Maybe they are very easily controlled by other people's opinions and you don't care. Maybe you are not ruled by other people's approval, and you're able to do the unique thing, the thing by yourself. You're able to do whatever that is. You're not waiting on permission from somebody else to develop a new habit, to start a new lifestyle, start looking different, being different. You're like, no, I'm grown. I don't have to ask anybody. I don't need to wait for your permission. I will just do that. And people will be looking like, oh, wow, she just never falls off. She's extremely disciplined. She's very consistent. Like, how does she actually do that? And it's time to just ask. I have the benefit of having this person in my life. Why don't I just ask them instead of hating? Eventually they get to the mindset of like, wow, all of the hating on them, all of the criticizing them, all of the judging them is not getting me what I want. Maybe I should try to do some research, seek some information. Many people, they don't understand that discipline is delayed gratification. People admire your results, but they will rarely admire the process while you're doing it. the same people who will admire your body, they will admire your life, they will criticize your discipline, they will criticize your boundaries, they will try to push and test your boundaries. Nobody is going to be sitting there clapping for you when you say no to something that is not aligned with you. Nobody's going to come say, oh, good job, you said no to that. Nobody's coming to like do streamers and confetti. Nobody, you have to clap for yourself sometimes. Unless you have some sort of community of disciplined other people to cheer you on. That's part of the reason I enjoy being a YouTuber. That's part of the reason that I think maybe I'll make a Discord soon, because I want to be able to talk to my like my subscribers like kind of more intimately and all the time and stuff. Because many of you are, I'm noticing as I'm going through comments and stuff, you guys are the types of people who, yeah, you're in the season where you're, you know, having to experience delayed gratification. You haven't gotten what you want yet, but you know that you're on the way there, and you're in that phase where nobody's clapping for you saying no. Nobody's clapping for you staying home, because, you know, I'm thinking of that that TikTok sound where it's like, sometimes you're not invited to the function because you don't do coke. Like sometimes sometimes you're invited and you decide, actually, I know what y'all are doing at that function. No, thank you. I'm going to stay home. Nobody's going to clap for you when you're saving money. Nobody's going to clap for you when you're doing something boring, like investing, or you're trying to learn about something. Nobody's going to clap for you when you're studying. If you're a content creator, nobody's going to clap for you because you're editing another video. Nobody's going to clap for you for saying, you have me all the way fucked up. And you say no to the family member, no to the friendship, no to the job, no to the partner. You say, oh no, not at all. This is not for me. You can miss me with this. Nobody's going to clap for you when you do that. What's crazy is that people actually end up doing the opposite. Sometimes when you are making the best decision of your life, it is the thing that you maybe feel the most shame over. It may feel embarrassing. It can feel extremely vulnerable. You can literally have people trying to discourage you, people trying to judge you, even online when it comes to the way that people virtue signal, or people are always reacting to this controversy and this controversy to explore this topic and whatever. And sometimes the things that are the best for you can be something that if you told anybody, everybody would be, people might be laughing at you. People might be shaming you. People might try to humiliate you or make you feel embarrassment over something that actually is just the delayed gratification. It's actually just discipline. It's like, it's not that there's nothing embarrassing about creating space for something better. There's nothing embarrassing about saying, this is not aligned with me. I'm too good for this. But people will do that. Like, for example, like if you are the type of person who leaves a job because you want to take entrepreneurship seriously, or you're going full and you believe in yourself on something, 9 times out of 10, people are not going to clap like, oh my God, you're pursuing your financial freedom. People are going to think you're crazy. They're going to think you're insane. The same thing when it comes to you maybe deciding that, like, there are many women that I know even for me, I kind of like, I don't want to say that I became like a recluse or whatever, but I got to the point where I kind of just like audited my life, and I was like, you can go, that can go, that habit, I don't need you anymore. Actually, I'm done. And, you know, to a lot of people on the outside, I look like I became like more of a boring person. I became like less friendly. Like I wasn't all up in everybody's faces. But this was, I was locked in. Like I knew exactly what I was doing. Even now to my in my life, there will be people who you know, I'll be around, and you know, they might be thinking about this or that. Like I'll be out taking a walk or something, and I'm not even concerned with, you know, the like something might be going on in the grocery store, might be something going on with people driving. I might run into somebody that I know or whatever. And I'm very much right now just locked in on what I have to focus on. And to other people that can look boring, but it's like, you know, even people, like sometimes I get self-conscious when I'm on my phone and I'm outside my house, and I'm like, oh my God, I look like one of these people that doesn't know how to socialize. But then I just realized, I'm like, no, I'm replying to my YouTube comments. I am a content creator. I'm working on my business, and I don't give a fuck if broke people think I look antisocial right now. I don't care. Like, I know I'm not antisocial. I know. And sometimes you have to just learn how to validate yourself when it comes to certain things. Even for some people, when it comes to, I think especially for women, you know, I know that I did a poll like a while ago, and a lot of my subscribers are single. whether you're somebody like, I guess, was always single and never had a relationship, or like you went through a breakup or something, majority of the time, people will want you to feel embarrassed or humiliated over having a breakup, even if the breakup was like the best thing that could have ever happened to you. People do this to women. Like, this is one of the weirdest things. Like, you lost something and you glowed up from it. Everything in your life improved. But because you are now single, that people just pedestalize a certain status, people will like want you to feel embarrassed, want you to feel shamed about it, want you to feel bad, because it's so weird. It's very weird the way people do that. But people will start clapping eventually. They're going to clap once the results appear. Once you reap the harvest from your delayed gratification, when you reap the benefits of what happens when you start becoming more bored, more locked in, less people pleasing, more disciplined on what it is. You're not avoiding your desires. You are actively working on getting your desires. You say, you know what? Actually, there's nothing stopping me. So like, why not today? Why do I have to wait till tomorrow? Why I can actually go get up and work out right now. Oh, I ordered this food. I can literally throw out the rest of this food and not eat it. Like I've even had situations. I remember when I first was on my weight loss journey, it would be things like I was dealing with a lot of food pushing. And I remember like maybe I'd leave a function, or like people would be trying to send stuff home with you from this hangout, or sometimes it might be men trying to send things home with you. Sometimes it's like older women who are trying to keep you, or like they want to keep you big, that maybe they see you headed towards their size and they definitely want you to experience all the extra weight on your joints and the misery that they had getting big and stuff at a young age. And you decide, actually, no. It would be certain, like I remember being in my house one time with like a takeout plate or something that somebody packed up for me and sent me to my house. And I remember just looking at it like, because I remember I didn't know how to say no to even like bringing it into my house or anything. But I realized, I was like, wait a minute. Like, is there a camera on me? Like, just because this person decided to pack this food up and send it with me, even though they know about my weight loss goals, but that's a whole nother story. I could literally just choose to throw this whole shit away right now. I could literally choose to not eat this at all. I don't have to eat one bite. I don't have to eat one single calorie of this. And, people oftentimes, like, they're addicted to what's familiar, and they don't understand that even in that scenario of me throwing away that plate and dealing with the uncomfort or the discomfort, even like if you grew up hearing things like, oh, there were kids starving in Africa and stuff, having to hear my grandma's voice in my head as I was throwing that food away, and just having to, my next point, that discipline changes your identity, basically shift my identity, that I'm not going to be controlled by my grandmother's voice in my head. I'm not going to be big because I have a memory of somebody like telling me that people are hungry somewhere else. Like, I don't have to be the type of person where I'm just going to be big just because people are like, I don't know, like it would make me uncomfortable to throw food away. It would make me uncomfortable to say no to accepting this. It might, like, even things like, oh, I'm not embarrassed by this, but other people, okay, I'm aware that they find this to be humiliating. Like, that is like, especially when I talk about like the situation of like going through a breakup or something, or changing a job, or missing out on the instant gratification of like retail therapy and instead saving and investing. People might actually think that it looks humiliating or embarrassing if they're all ordering out lunch at the office and you're the only person who's not. You brought your lunch. To some people, that's embarrassing. But like at a certain point, you're like, discipline will change your identity to being like, wait a minute, I don't want to be bad bodied like her. So if she thinks it's embarrassing that I brought some vegetables for my lunch, I'm okay with that. I'm not embarrassed. I would be embarrassed to look like her. I'm not embarrassed by the fact that somebody else would find what I'm doing to be embarrassing. That is an identity shift. So many people, they are ruled by the fact that somebody else would be embarrassed to be in their position. Somebody else would feel ashamed of being in their position. Or even knowing that people are laughing, they're snickering, they're wherever. Like, okay, they could let them laugh, Let them snicker. They will laugh and snicker all the way until the point where they have diabetes. They will laugh and snicker and do all of these things to the point where they are thicker than a snicker, and not in a good way. Like, I have gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't want your life. I don't want your relationship. I don't want your hair. I don't want your face. I don't want your body. So you laughing, snickering, whatever at me, how is that actually going to stop me? How is that going to, if anything, I've gotten to the point, like, the identity shifts into like, oh, if this person thinks that what I'm doing is wrong, or it's on the right, or it's like not on the right path, I'm probably on the right path, because look at where their life is. Every decision, every single crossroads they've came to, it basically looks like they went the wrong way, or they went the opposite way of the way that I would have went. So why am I being ruled or controlled by somebody else's feelings or their perception of me? And I think that this is where psychology gets really interesting, because a lot of people think, like, they have the wrong mindset. They think, oh, I'm trying to become disciplined. But the shift becomes, I'm the type of person who, it's not even that you're disciplined. It's like, or it's not even that I'm trying to become disciplined. You're a different person. I am the type of person who keeps promises to myself. I don't have to become more disciplined. I am somebody who keeps promises to myself. I don't have to become more disciplined. I am the type of person who leaves disrespect. Peace out. Adios. I am the type of person who finishes what she starts. I am the type of person who protects her peace. Fuck what everybody else is thinking. You need to become a different type of person, because the old version of you, as much empathy as you have for her, as familiar as she is, as much as you love her, you would have your dream life if she was going to get you there. I promise you. If she was going to, if the past version of you was going to get you the life that you want, and she was going to get you every single desire that you have, then you would already have it. You'd already have it. If you don't have it yet, you need to go back to the drawing board, and you can give her a hug. You can say, thank you so much for learning those lessons. Thank you so much for enduring that pain. Thank you so much for making those choices. Thank you so much for everything that you did. Because you know what? You got me through every bad day. Every day that I was going to give up, you got me through those days. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. But I'm done. But I don't want to be where you are. And you have not brought me to where I want to be yet, so I'm not going to be you anymore. Respectfully. You know, once discipline becomes your identity, decisions are going to require so much less willpower. Like, I remember there was a phase in my level up journey, like, and I talk about weight loss a lot because that is something that I find very, like, relevant to this. And I know that a lot of my subscribers, that is like a goal of their own. It's going to be hard to lose weight when you are relying on willpower. You need to change your identity. You need to shift your identity, which means, and this is the uncomfortable thing for people. So when I talk about, like, oh, you shift to becoming the type of person who finishes what she starts, leaves disrespect, keeps promises to herself, protects her peace, that looks like delayed gratification. That looks like, okay, I'm at this age and I'm this size. I want to lose weight. I have a friend. She's the same size as me. She doesn't want to lose weight. I'm the type of person now. I have decided overnight, actually, because nobody's stopping me. I can just, you could be listening to this right now and you can decide this today. You decide, oh, I'm the type of person who finishes what she starts. Oh, my friend, she's not the type of person who finishes what she starts. Actually, you can change up on people. Yeah, you can leave people in the dust. You can actually turn your nose up and you will have people looking at you like, oh, she thinks she's better than. And yeah, you can start moving like you're better than, or like you're protecting your peace, or like somebody is incompatible before you have what you want. Yes, you can. Many of the people that you will see who started off in a bad financial position, they were born into maybe not the best finances and everything, and they decided to get themselves out of that, like get it out of the mud. They looked around, and at a certain point in the same neighborhood, they had the friend who wanted to go get into some bullshit, and they started acting different. They started saying, oh no, I can't hang out. And people, oh, you think you're too good for us? You think you're better than us? And fast forward 20 years, those people that you rejected and you said, no, thank you, or, no, I don't want to hang out. No, I'm not aligned with you. Those same people who criticized the boundary you set, criticized, called you boring, tried to make you feel embarrassed about a season in your life. Those same people will still be there where they're at in 20 years. I promise you. And you will literally have what you want because you're a different person. You have to realize that some criticism is actually admiration in disguise. Not all criticism. Trust me, some criticism is real criticism. Some criticism is just constructive. It's really just trying to help you. But if it starts sounding like, people saying, why are you always, it sounds like critique. Like, why? You're trying to examine. They're trying to make you defend what you're doing and stuff like that. Instead of them wondering, how are you able to? This might, for some of you, even come up. And let's say you're the type of person who you're like, you're beautiful, you're a shapeshifter, let's say you just believe in beautification. I think some women, like if you're like me and you kind of have like a little bit of like a man eater type of energy to you or something, other women may see that on you, or if you have something about you that's very alluring, very attractive. If you're the type of girl who likes to change your hair, you like to wear certain outfits and stuff, you will have people who they really admire your confidence, but it comes out like, well, why are you always changing your hair? Why are you always getting so dressed up? It's going to sound like that. But these same people, I swear to God, they will copy you. I promise you. They will be copying you. They will be asking. They will be analyzing before long. And if they're not analyzing right to you, I have literally heard people break down my own outfit, makeup, hair, whatever it is, to somebody else when they're thinking I'm not listening. I've heard people do that, trying to break down the next girl because they don't even want to give the admiration of coming to you and asking like, how are you able to do this? Or how'd you do this? Or where'd you get this from? I get it. Some people gatekeep and everything. Yeah. But some people, they don't want to give you your pedestal so bad that they will just like, they don't want to ask you. They'd rather ask ChatGPT. And I think about this so often. Like, I think of, let's say you're an influencer or something and, you're wearing an outfit or whatever. And people are in your comments asking you. Those are people typically who may actually genuinely have some admiration for you. And they're not uncomfortable with showing you that. Versus somebody who's a hater, they'll just screenshot your picture and just run it through ChatGPT, run it through AI, run it through Google searches or whatever. Because, see, I want to know where you got that shirt from, but I don't want you thinking I like your shirt. I'm not about to tell you that I like your shirt. So I want your shirt, but I'm not going to let you know that I admire that shirt and it looks good on you. And no, and that will really happen in people. People will be saying things like, oh, why you always have your hair done? Or why are you always walking? Why are you always posting? Why are you always reading? Why are you always quiet? Why are you always on your phone? And it could literally be things where people are trying to critique, like they're trying to critique things that are actually part of your level up. Just like when I spoke about like my little thing about, people feeling like maybe I'm antisocial when I'm getting shit done. I'm doing stuff. I'm busy, especially if I'm around people where, a lot of women who are hating on you, they want access to you because they want to be able to bring you psychological pain. So these would be the type of people who they don't even really like you like that. They're not even trying to speak life into you. They're not even trying to be positive and uplifting toward you, but they still just think it's weird when you're quiet. Bitch, why the fuck would I be participating in a conversation with you? For what? For you to try to give me some slick backhanded compliment? For you to try to offend me? For you to try to push my buttons in some type of way? For you to try to devalue me? For you to try to use some red pill bullshit against me? People don't like when you disengage. Like, even if they're not aligned with you, people still want the access. They were like, oh, well, you disengaged? Yes, I would disengage. Yes, I will be doing something that's working on getting me my desires. No, I'm not going to sit here and like, because it's not the same version of me anymore. I actually don't have to deal with this. I am no longer the type of person who is more concerned with how other people perceive me than I am with achieving my desires. I'm okay with being perceived like this, that, and the third, if it is on the road to achieving my desires. I don't have an issue with that. Sorry, I have a neighbor outside my window that just keeps coughing or whatever. You would think people realize to stop smoking cigarettes at some point, but that's neither here nor there. That's shady, but I also want to say that discipline is not perfection. And this is one of my most important points. And this is basically going to be my last point as well. being disciplined does not mean that you're never going to feel lonely. It doesn't mean that you're never going to miss someone. It doesn't mean that you're never going to want to quit. But it means acting according to your values instead of according to your feelings every time. Feelings are going to change, but your desires are mainly going to stay. Yeah, it may feel a little bit embarrassing or humiliating, or it may feel uncomfortable, or you may be self-conscious at the beginning. That may be your feeling, but the standards of what you want for your life are not going to change. Even if you say, oh, this is uncomfortable, I'm going to avoid feeling I don't want to feel uncomfortable. Okay, well, you still want that. So I don't know if you're going to have to, what's more important to you, avoiding feeling uncomfortable or having what you want? I want what I want, even if I have to endure looking antisocial, even if I have to endure looking or feeling self-conscious, even I have to endure feeling uncomfortable or not super confident, or maybe insecure, or maybe anxious or something. Those feelings can change, but my standards of what I want for my life are going to stay. So I stay in, the routine of acting according to my values. So just in closing, I just want to say that some people, they're not going to be able to understand your discipline until it starts producing the results they wish that they had. Don't stop because somebody is uncomfortable watching you become the person they're still telling themselves that they're going to become with no work. Okay, yes, you can critique me. You can want the same thing as me, to critique me, make none of the sacrifices that I make, and somehow you're going to end up with the same thing. Okay, that's what these people are looking at you feeling. And this is part of the reason, just piggybacking off of my last video where I was talking about bullying in the workplace, but in every facet of life, when you're leveling up, you're always having people who they're just telling themselves that somehow they're going to manifest losing 250 pounds without doing any work. Okay, whatever you tell yourself, or you're going to manifest all of a sudden, losing the desire. Your desires are probably not going to go away. As a matter of fact, the more that you show yourself that you're capable of achieving your desires start to get bigger, and you start believing that you're worthy of having more and more, and then you achieve and you gain more and more. But what do you think about this, worldies? Have you ever come across somebody who it's like you feel like they're a fan, but you feel like they just don't know it yet? Let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, worldies, eyes on the prize.